What if I told you that the single most important health decision you make all day happens within the first 60 seconds of waking up? It's not about what you eat for breakfast or whether you take your vitamins. It's about how you get out of bed. Now, I know the title of this video, The Number One Morning Mistake That Ages Your Body, might sound a little dramatic, like something designed just to get your attention. But I want to be very clear from the outset. This is not an exaggeration. Based on a growing body of scientific research, we now understand that the common, reflexive way most of us have gotten out of bed for decades could be directly contributing to two specific and serious forms of aging: the physical aging of your spine, and most surprisingly, the accelerated aging of your brain. If you've ever woken up feeling stiff, with a groan in your back that makes you feel 10 years older than you are, or if you've ever stood up and felt a sudden wave of dizziness or lightheadedness, you've experienced the warning signs. And if you've ever told yourself, well, this is just a normal part of getting older, I'm here today to respectfully and emphatically challenge that idea. What you're experiencing is not an inevitable part of aging, but often it's the result of a habit. And the good news is, habits can be changed. Over the next few minutes, we're going to embark on a deep dive. This isn't just a list of tips. This is a complete step-by-step system grounded in advice from institutions like the Mayo Clinic and Johns Hopkins Medicine to completely transform how you start your day. We're going to dismantle the number one mistake piece by piece and replace it with a simple, 5-step method that takes less than 2 minutes. A method designed to protect your spine from what experts call cumulative microtrauma and to shield your brain from the dangerous drop in blood flow that new research has linked to some very serious long-term consequences. You're going to learn not just what to do, but why you're doing it. You'll understand the simple science behind protecting your independence, preserving your mobility, and keeping your mind sharp for all the years you've worked so hard to enjoy. I promise that by the end of this video, you will never look at your morning routine the same way again. And a quick but important reminder, I am not a doctor, and this video is not a substitute for professional medical advice. The information we're sharing today is for educational purposes, based on publicly available research from leading health organizations. My goal is to empower you with knowledge so you can have more informed conversations with your own healthcare provider. If you experience persistent pain, severe dizziness, or have any underlying health conditions, please consult with your doctor before making any changes to your routine. Now, before we get to the 5 steps, we need to clear the air about a persistent and frankly dangerous myth you may have heard. It's the idea that getting out of bed too quickly can cause a sudden heart attack or even death. You may have seen forwarded emails or social media posts warning about this. It's understandable why this myth persists. It sounds plausible and it taps into a genuine fear. But let's be crystal clear. According to cardiologists and major fact-checking health organizations, this is false. Getting up too fast does not, in and of itself, cause a healthy heart to suddenly stop. The real danger is far more common and, in many ways, just as insidious. The true risk is something called orthostatic hypotension, that sudden drop in blood pressure that makes you dizzy. The danger isn't a heart attack. It's fainting, falling, and suffering a life-altering injury like a broken hip. A fall can be the event that triggers a loss of independence, the very thing so many of us fear. So we're not focusing on a myth. We're focusing on the real, scientifically validated risks and the simple, powerful ways to prevent them. Let's begin with the very first moment your alarm goes off. The first step in our new routine is called the slow wake-up, or what I like to call the 30-second rule. Let me paint a picture. The alarm blares. Your first instinct, honed over 50 years of workdays and responsibilities, is to silence it, sit bolt upright, and get the day started. It's a signal of productivity, of not wasting time. But after 8 hours of relative stillness, your body is in a state of hibernation. Your muscles are cool, your circulation is sluggish, and your joints are less lubricated. Think of it like starting a classic car on a cold winter morning. You wouldn't just turn the key and immediately redline the engine, would you? You'd let it warm up. Let the oil circulate. Your body needs and deserves that same gentle start. The simple science here is all about circulation and muscle activation. While you sleep, your heart rate slows and blood can pool slightly in your extremities. Your muscles, having been inactive, are not primed for sudden, forceful contraction. Jolting from a horizontal, resting state to a vertical, active one is a shock to this unprepared system. It's a primary reason for that Tin Man feeling, that sense of total body stiffness that makes the first few steps of the day feel so precarious. I remember my own uncle, a wonderful man who complained every single morning about his old man back. He'd sit up with a huge groan, swing his legs out, and then spend 5 minutes bent over, waiting for the kinks to work themselves out. He just assumed it was his fate. He never considered that the first 10 seconds of his morning were setting him up for that pain. So here is the simple, powerful action step. Before you even think about sitting up, commit to just 30 seconds of gentle, in-bed movement. That's it. While you're still lying on your back, begin by simply pointing your toes away from you, as if you're pressing a gas pedal, and hold for 5 seconds. Then, flex your feet back towards your shins, feeling a gentle stretch in your calves. Repeat this 5 or 6 times. This simple motion acts like a pump, kick-starting blood flow in your lower legs and sending a signal to your nervous system that it's time to wake up. Next, one at a time, gently bring your knee towards your chest. Don't pull aggressively, just guide it until you feel a comfortable stretch in your lower back and glute. Hold it for 10 seconds, then slowly lower it. Switch to the other leg. These small movements are profound. They are a conversation with your body, telling it that movement is coming and to prepare for it gracefully. Now, as for red flags, these movements should feel like a gentle, pleasant stretch. If you experience sharp stabbing pain in your hip or back, or a locking sensation in your knee during these gentle exercises, it's a sign. It doesn't mean you should stop moving, but it does mean you should have a conversation with your doctor. It could be an early indicator of arthritis or another joint issue that can be managed much more effectively if caught early. Now that we have gently woken up the body's internal systems, the circulation, and the muscles, it's time to address the structure itself. We need to tackle the single most mechanically damaging thing most people do every morning, which brings us to step number 2. Step number 2 is the log roll technique, and this is all about protecting your spine. The most common way people get out of bed is what I call the jackknife or the sit-up. You're lying on your back, and you use your stomach and back muscles to pull your torso straight up, folding at the waist. While this might have felt effortless when you were 20, doing this now is like playing Russian roulette with your spinal discs. Let me explain the simple science with an analogy that a physical therapist once shared with me. Think of the discs in your lower back like little jelly donuts stacked between the vertebrae. When you do that forward sit-up motion, you are putting immense compressive force on the front of those donuts. What happens when you squeeze a jelly donut from one side? The jelly bulges out the other. In your spine, that jelly is the nucleus pulposus, the soft center of your disc. And when it bulges out, it's called a herniated or slipped disc, which can press on nerves and cause excruciating pain like sciatica. Doing this once might not cause a problem, but this is the definition of cumulative micro-trauma. You've likely performed this exact stressful motion 10,000, 20,000, maybe 30,000 times over your lifetime. Each time, it's a tiny, unnoticeable strain, but those strains add up, year after year, until one morning, you do the exact same thing you've always done, and suddenly, a searing pain shoots down your back. It feels like a sudden injury, but in reality, it was an injury decades in the making. Research has now gone even further. A groundbreaking study that used advanced machine learning to analyze brain scans found that individuals with chronic low back pain had brains that appeared structurally older than their chronological age. The constant pain signals and inflammation are thought to literally reshape the brain over time. Protecting your back isn't just about avoiding pain, it's about protecting your brain health. The action step here is a technique that physical therapists teach to post-surgery patients, but it's so effective it should be the universal standard. It's the log roll. Instead of sitting straight up, while you are still lying on your back with your knees bent, you're going to roll onto your side. The key is to move as one single unit. Keep your knees together and let them fall to the side you want to get out of. And allow your torso and shoulders to follow in one smooth motion. Your head and neck should stay in line with your spine. Think of yourself as a solid log rolling over. There should be no twisting at the waist. This one change moves the force of the movement from a dangerous forward flexion of your spine to a safe, neutral rotation. A red flag to watch for here is any sharp, electric, or shooting pain that radiates from your back down into your buttock or leg as you roll. This could be a sign of sciatica or nerve compression, and it's something you should absolutely discuss with your doctor right away. Don't try to push through that kind of pain. So you successfully rolled onto your side. Your spine is in a perfect, neutral position, completely protected. You're at the edge of the bed, but you're not upright yet. How do you get from this side-lying position to a seated one without undoing all that good work by straining your neck or back? That question leads us directly to step number 3. Step number 3 is to use your arms, not your abs, in a movement I call the push-up. Picture the scenario. You've log rolled to the side, and now you need to get up. The instinctive move for many is to lead with the head, using the neck and oblique muscles to sort of pull and contort the body into a seated position. This strains the delicate muscles in your neck and puts a shearing force on your mid-back. It's an inefficient, awkward movement that again asks smaller, stabilizing muscles to do the job of big, powerful movers. The science here is simple biomechanics. Your back muscles, particularly the ones that run along your spine, are designed primarily for endurance and stabilization, for holding you upright. They are not designed for powerful, explosive lifting. Your arms and shoulders, however, are. The shoulder joint is a marvel of mobility and strength, perfectly designed for pushing and pulling. By shifting the work of sitting up from your vulnerable back to your powerful arms, you are using the right tool for the job. I once knew a gentleman, an avid gardener, who was incredibly frustrated by his persistent back pain. He told me, "I have a strong core. I can lift heavy bags of soil. Why does my back hurt just from getting out of bed?" It was because he was using his lifting muscles for the wrong task. He was trying to pull himself up with his back instead of pushing himself up with his arms. The action step is beautifully simple and flows naturally from the log roll. As you are lying on your side at the edge of the bed, simultaneously use your arms to push your torso up as you swing your legs over the side and down to the floor. Let's break it down. The arm that is on the bottom should have its hand planted flat on the mattress, somewhere under your shoulder. Your top arm can either rest on the bed in front of you for support, or it can help by pushing on the mattress as well. Now, in one fluid motion, push the bed away from you with your arms and let the weight of your legs swinging down act as a counterbalance. Your torso will rise straight up, with your back remaining perfectly straight and unstressed. You are using your triceps, your shoulders, and your chest, not your spine. A red flag here would be a sharp pain or significant weakness in your shoulder as you push up. If you feel a grinding sensation or have difficulty lifting your own body weight due to shoulder pain, it could be a sign of an underlying issue, like a rotator cuff tear or impingement, which a doctor or physical therapist can help you address. All right, let's just take a quick pause here. We have made it from lying flat in bed to sitting safely on the edge. Your body has been woken up gently, and most importantly, your spine has been completely protected from the damaging forces of the old jackknife method. We've covered the crucial physical mechanics of the movement. But the next two steps tackle the silent, invisible danger, the one that happens inside your body and brain the moment you go from sitting to standing. This is where we really get into the science of healthy aging. And if you are finding this guide helpful, if one of these points has already been an aha moment for you, I would be so grateful if you took just 1 second to tap that like button below. It truly helps this information reach more people who need to hear it. Okay, you are sitting on the edge of the bed. What comes next is arguably the most important step of all. This brings us to step number 4, the seated pause. This is where we directly combat that head rush, that dizziness that so many people experience and dangerously ignore. The common mistake is instantaneous action. The moment your feet touch the floor, you're already in the process of standing up. It feels efficient, it feels normal, but it can be one of the riskiest things you do. This immediate stand is what triggers orthostatic hypotension. Let's break that down. Ortho means upright, static means still, and hypotension means low blood pressure. It's low blood pressure upon standing. The science is fascinating. When you're lying down, gravity's effect on your blood is evenly distributed. When you suddenly sit or stand up, gravity pulls about half a liter of blood down into your legs and abdomen. In a younger person, special pressure sensors in the arteries, called baroreceptors, instantly detect this drop. They send a signal to the brain, which then tells the heart to beat faster and the blood vessels to constrict, pushing blood pressure right back up to normal within a second or two. As we get older, however, this response system can become a bit sluggish. The signals aren't as fast, and the blood vessels aren't as responsive. This delay means that for a few crucial seconds, your brain isn't getting the full amount of oxygen-rich blood it needs. This is what causes that feeling of dizziness, lightheadedness, or seeing stars. It's a state known as transient cerebral hypoperfusion, a temporary low blood flow to the brain. For years, we thought this was just a nuisance. But a massive 25-year-long study published in the respected medical journal PLOS Medicine uncovered a startling link. The study followed thousands of middle-aged adults and found that those who experienced orthostatic hypotension had a 15% increased long-term risk of developing dementia. The researchers theorized that these repeated small episodes of low blood flow cause subtle, cumulative damage to the brain over many years. Think of our persona, Richard. He's deeply worried about his mind declining. He might dismiss a little morning dizziness as nothing, but this science shows it could be a direct threat to his long-term cognitive health. It's not just about preventing a fall tomorrow. It's about protecting his brain for the next 20 years. The action step could not be simpler, yet it is profoundly important. Once you have pushed yourself up and are sitting on the edge of the bed, you must simply pause. Plant your feet firmly on the floor, about shoulder width apart. Sit up straight, Let your hands rest on your thighs and just wait. Take 3 or 4 slow, deep breaths. The goal is to stay seated for at least 30 seconds. This small window of time is all your body needs for its baroreceptors to catch up, for your heart rate and blood vessels to adjust, and for your blood pressure to stabilize before you ask your body to take on the full challenge of standing against gravity. The red flags for orthostatic hypotension are important. If your dizziness is very frequent, if it ever causes you to actually faint, or if it's accompanied by other symptoms like blurred vision, chest pain, or confusion, it is absolutely essential that you speak with your doctor. It can sometimes be a side effect of medications or a sign of a more serious underlying cardiovascular or neurological condition that needs to be properly diagnosed and managed. Your blood pressure is now stable. Your spine is aligned. Your brain has the steady supply of oxygen it needs to function properly. You are fully prepared for the final, critical transition from sitting to standing. This brings us to step 5. Our final step, step number 5, is the mindful stand. The goal here is to get you on your feet with power, stability, and control, using the strongest muscles in your body. Let's look at the common mistake. After pausing, many people will place their hands on their thighs and push upward, often rounding their back significantly in the process. It becomes a struggle, a heave-ho motion where you're using your arms and your fragile lower back to pry yourself into a standing position. This puts one last unnecessary strain on those lumbar vertebrae we've worked so hard to protect. The simple science here is all about your center of gravity. To stand up efficiently and safely, you need to shift your center of gravity from your seat forward over your feet. The nose over toes principle is the key. By leaning forward until your nose is directly over your toes, you have properly positioned your body weight to be lifted by your legs, not your back. Your legs, your quadriceps, your hamstrings, and especially your glutes contain the largest and most powerful muscles in your entire body. They are designed for exactly this kind of work. Think about how a professional weightlifter performs a deadlift. They don't bend over and pull with their back. They sink their hips, keep their back straight, and drive the weight up with the immense power of their legs. We should grant our own body weight the same respect and proper technique. I think of my friend's father, who had both bad knees and a bad back. Getting up was a painful ordeal of rocking back and forth, building momentum until he could lurch himself forward and upward. A physical therapist showed him this one simple adjustment. Instead of rocking, he learned to scoot to the very edge of his chair, get his feet set underneath him, lean his chest forward, and then think about driving through his heels to stand. It transformed the movement from a painful struggle into a controlled, manageable action. It gave him a sense of control over his body that he thought he had lost forever. So here is the final action step. From your seated position on the edge of the bed, first, scoot your hips forward a little bit. Make sure your feet are flat on the floor, about shoulder width apart, and positioned slightly behind your knees. Now lean your upper body forward, keeping your back straight. The cue is nose over toes. Once you feel your weight shift onto your feet, drive through your heels and use your powerful leg muscles to stand up straight. Your arms can be at your sides or crossed over your chest. The point is not to use them to push off your legs. You will feel your thighs and glutes engage. This is you, using your body's strongest assets to your advantage. The red flag here is significant pain in your knees or a feeling of instability, as if your knee might give way. This is a clear signal to consult with a doctor or a physical therapist. It might indicate weakness in the supporting muscles that can be corrected with specific exercises, or it could point to an issue within the knee joint itself. True stability as we age comes from strong, well-functioning legs. in addressing any weakness here is paramount for fall prevention. And there you have it, a complete 5-step system to take you from lying in bed to standing on your feet, not as someone who feels old and stiff, but as someone who is moving with intention, intelligence, and strength. Let's quickly recap the victory you've just achieved for your body. You began by using the slow wake-up, a 30-second rule to gently awaken your circulation and muscles. Then, you protected your precious spine from thousands of pounds of pressure by using the log roll. You rose to a seated position using the power of your arms, not the strain of your back, with the push-up. You then safeguarded your brain and prevented dangerous dizziness by incorporating the seated pause. And finally, you stood up with the power and stability of your body's strongest muscles by mastering the mindful stand. This isn't about being fragile. It's the exact opposite. This is about being smart. It's about being an active, informed steward of your own health. It's about recognizing that small, consistent, intelligent actions are what lead to a long, independent, and vibrant life. The goal is to ensure that your physical body remains a capable and willing partner to your sharp mind and your adventurous spirit for all the years to come. This 2-minute routine is an investment you make every single morning in your own dignity, your own freedom, and your own future. Now, I would love to hear from you. In the journey we just took, which of these 5 steps was the biggest aha moment for you? Was it the link between dizziness and brain health? Or the jelly donut analogy for your spinal discs? Please take a moment to share your thoughts in the comments below. Reading your experiences and insights is one of the best parts of making these videos. And if you enjoyed this deep dive and believe in this approach to health, one based on science, empowerment, and practical steps, please be sure to hit that subscribe button and ring that little notification bell so you won't miss our future content. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. Be well, stay empowered, and I'll see you in the next video.